in the 7th Fleet and able to gain rank, or at least once you become a lieutenant commander, you need to make able to go up to full commander. There's 5 command tests that you have to take, and one of them basically there's a test on every series.
Okay.
And so I'm studying the Deep Space Nine series right now, so I can take my
test.
One of the requirements for gaining rank, any rank, is actually to know some trivia about the series.
Yep.
If we're going to call ourselves Trekkie, we should know something about our subject.
Sure, exactly.
So that's a requirement of the 7th Fleet.
Cool. That kind of makes sense. I'm in the military myself, and everything's about taking tests.
Oh, I spent 4 years in the Navy. I understand.
We believe if you want the rank, you actually have to earn it, not just, okay, you know what, I need a commander, boom, you're it.
Yeah, it's not a bunch of guys sitting around a table calling each other captain for no reason.
Yeah, I've been going to this group for 5 years now. I get a little hash mark because I've been in it.
Mm-hmm.
You get it because you actually have studied and, or you know, the show and how things work. Yeah, you've heard it.
Exactly.
So you guys both part of the 7th Fleet then?
Yes.
We're actually the commanding officer and executive officer of the White Buffalo.
Right.
We're a chapter in training for the 7th Fleet. The 7th Fleet is made up of several chapters. Each one's a ship.
Right.
The USS Kelly, the USS Ticonderoga, the USS Atlantis.
Ursa Major.
Ursa Major. I wasn't going to list them all. And the White Buffalo's goal is to eventually become a full ship, a full-fledged chapter.
You guys are in Tooele, right?
Yes.
Okay. I was talking
You guys aren't doing your own chapter because there's a fallout with another chapter.
No.
It's just because it's like a ship in a fleet.
We're all
There's multiple ships.
Yeah, we're all members. We were members of the Kelly, and the White Buffalo is a break-off of the Kelly because, frankly, it's just too far to drive every month to, to go to the Kelly activities. And figured it would be a lot more convenient if we had our own chapter in Tooele.
Sure. Well, you hear a lot of like clubs or organizations where someone gets offended or whatever, and they go off and do their own little thing. But you guys, the entire 7th Fleet is the umbrella organization, and you're all friends and you guys get together.
Exactly.
You guys even do events.
This is pretty much a reunion for the 7th Fleet because everybody comes here and we all see each other and say hi and hang out at the 7th Fleet table.
Yeah. So the simulator we just saw, tell us a little bit about that. I was talking to Aaron about it a little bit, but tell us a little bit more. Where did it come from, and how did you guys get wind of it and start doing that? That was really cool stuff.
Well, we were introduced to it a little over a year ago.
About a year and a half ago.
And we were told where we could download it. We downloaded the trial version and played with it. And we liked it enough. We went in, as a club, purchased a full version. And there have been, and we got to know it and played with it. And the more we learned it, the more they also kept advancing it. What you see today is still a project in work, a work in progress, I should say.
And it simulates pretty much what we see on TV on the shows, right? Whenever they're in a combat situation.
It's not just Star Trek. It's a generic system, but we were using a Star Trek mod for it. But they had in mind it could simulate Star Trek, Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica.
Oh.
Pretty much any space program where there are ships fighting ships.
Okay. So even like where the technology would be different, like quote unquote different from like Star Wars, they would have like a mod that overlays and says it's not photon torpedoes now, it's whatever they use in Battlestar Galactica.
Blaster cannons.
Okay.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Exactly. Hyperdrive.
So does it also simulate to the degree like you'll in Star Trek you're watching the show and the captain will say take us to coordinates blah 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 or whatever, and you're like what the freak is that, right?
Yeah.
So because it's probably longitude latitude, and do they have to know how to interpret that in the game?
Some captains will say take us to this sector, sector A1.
Okay.
And the helmsman needs to look at the map and decide what direction that is. Or the captain might just say, take us to this bearing. Okay. And go to warp 4 at this bearing.
Okay.
It's a 2D system at the moment. It may at some point and make them a 3D, which would be rather cool.
Okay.
But that's probably down the road.
Okay. I know that's sometimes I've heard as a complaint with any any system where there's battles in space, it's like, well, you have you have like the Enterprise is vertical, is horizontal here, for example, on a plane, and then the Frankies are on a plane. They don't have to be because it's space, so it doesn't matter.
In the Star Trek movie, The Wrath of Khan, you actually see the Enterprise come up on the Reliance.
Yeah, exactly. But you don't normally see that very often.
No, you don't.
And I think it's because they probably. My guess they probably do that because people have this plane view of everything. Everything's on a plane, like in a battlefield. Tanks or whatever. There's not one horizontal to a vertical one. It's more familiar to people.
Well, the most popular and famous war game on Earth is chess, and it's on a plane.
Yeah.
And most people, in fact, the military academies teach their officers to play chess so they can think in tactics.
Well, then you have like in Star Trek where
it's
three-dimensional, which apparently is a real game.
It evolved out of Star Trek to become a real game. Yes,
which is really cool.
It is.
So what are some of the disadvantages of using this simulator? Do you find that we were down there and there's people who never played it and they're like, well, I need you to go here, but they're like, taking you over here.
Yeah.
So
one of the biggest, it could be either an advantage or a disadvantage that the simulator does, is it teaches teamwork. If you don't work out together as a team, you're not going to accomplish anything.
If the captain wants to do something, but the helmsman has his own ideas on where to go, that ain't going to work.
Exactly.
So this is just a program anybody can go out and buy.
Yeah,
correct.
And put together a half a dozen machines in their own basement and just kind of play around with it for a while.
When you buy it, you basically get a license to put it on the computers in your network. So you can play a ship or two. You could actually theoretically have up to 6 ships hooked up to it. But each ship is an additional 7 computers.
Oh, okay.
Exactly.
And that's what it takes to run the game with 7 computers.
8 for the base.
Okay.
But you only have one game master for the whole system. So.
Exactly.
So you can have 43 people playing at once in one giant banquet room.
Yes.
Yep.
Doing some type of fleet battle with the Romulans or whatever.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
It can get pretty hairy, I imagine. we don't have the computers to do that ourselves.
Right.
Does when you buy the program, does it only give you 7 licenses, a license for 7 computers, or could you put if you wanted to do a 43?
You could do 43.
Really?
Yep. Well, once you buy it, it's yours.
They ask you to work on the honor system.
Exactly.
There's no actual copy protection restrictions.
Have you guys ever had multiple ships in a scenario? Have you done that yet?
Not yet.
No,
Unfortunately, we don't have the manpower or the hardware power.
We were lucky to pull together 10 computers to have 2 backups for what we did. We had 8 computers running, with the system, and we had 2 in the background just in case.
Yes.
And the program's called Artemis.
Artemis, yes.
Okay.
If you did the Google search for Artemis Bridge Simulator, the demo version is free, and you get the server, helm, and technical. And if you want to get the software for free, you can actually record yourselves playing it, and then send it into them. And usually, they'll give you the full version for free. The other option is only $40.
Oh, it's not bad at all.
Not bad at all.
So how many scenarios have you guys gone through yourselves?
Well, we've actually written, 4 or 5 of our own?
Most missions that we run here, I programmed and the primary mission files for it. It sets up the basic game board, but then the game master goes in and he adds different things and just puts the things in different areas. It's never the same twice.
Oh, so there's a game master that can throw in a bird of prey all of a sudden without
the game master during the combat missions, the game master might throw a few ships in, and if the players zip through it too fast, then he might up the ante and make them either bigger ships or more ships.
It seemed to go over pretty well here at the con.
It did.
It was awesome. Lots of rave reviews.
How did Tim do?
He was fantastic.
He was fantastic. He came in. We gave him the choice of any seat he wanted. He wanted the captaincy.
Okay.
he did things using the regular mines that you just drop.
We've never seen anyone do
Never seen
success
anybody do.
with mines before.
He'd sit there and he would strategize all of his moves, and it was awesome.
Huh.
He knew what he was doing.
He,
And I will say this, hero worship takes you a long way. None of the crew argued with him in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
he said do it.
They did.
They did it.
He was the captain.
He had the crew in his hands.
That's awesome.
He was originally just going to spend 15 minutes with us. 2 hours later, he's still.
Oh my gosh! Wow. That's
We
so
enjoyed
cool.
it.
Did several people get to play with them, or
Yes.
was it?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I even got to have a chance as science officer with him. So.
I run the
enjoyed
game
that.
masters for that, for those missions. So it was fun to see how he handled the situations.
So how many hours total did you run over the con?
We had 26 hours.
26 hours.
It's a lot.
Wow.
We had 4 hours Friday, 4 hours today, and then both overnights Friday night. And actually, no, we had 2 extra hours yesterday, so 28 hours.
Yeah.
So we went Friday, from noon to 4, and then from Friday night, 11 p.m. to 8 o'clock Saturday morning, and then Saturday night from 9:30 to 8 o'clock this morning, and then from 1 to 5 this afternoon.
So you guys, you said this is like a reunion for everybody.
For the
Oh,
7th Fleet, yeah.
Overall, what was your impression of the convention this year?
I enjoyed it. This is my first time I've been to this
I didn't
particular
get to
con.
see the convention as much as I wanted to because we were so involved with Artemis. But what I saw, I really enjoyed. And especially enjoyed Tim on track.
And having Tim Russ here, how was that for the group?
Well, that was fantastic.
It was an honor.
A lot of the ships, or a lot of people in the 7th Fleet consider him one of their favorite characters. You know, Tuvok. I'm on that list.
So do you guys, the USS Kelly, the 7th Fleet, you guys have a website?
Yes, actually.
We do.
Cool.
The 7th Fleet's website is 7thfleet.org. The USS Kelly is usskelly.com. And then for the White Buffalo, it's shuttlewhitebuffalo.org.
Shuttle White Buffalo.
We started out as a shuttle before we were upgraded to a chapter and training.
Okay.
And we still maintain that same website.
Well, thanks for taking some time to talk to us.
You're welcome.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
We enjoyed it.
Oh, we did too. That was great. Great.